listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are joining us from the world. We are so happy to have you. We have a global audience now. We have 14 weekly shows. I can't believe it. Thank you for your support, for your loyalty. Today, we are also streaming live on Instagram, although on Instagram, you can only hear me because of the way the technology is set up. We are on 4 Facebook pages, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch TV, and we are also going to become a podcast, and we'll be on 5 other platforms. So 11 platforms for your viewing and listening enjoyment. This show is Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Aminah. We love Aminah. We love having her on, and the fans love her. People love to engage with the show. And I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I'm going to bring Aminah out. Aminah, welcome.
Thank you. Yay, we love Fridays.
Woo, we love Fridays. So good to see you. So why don't you tell us, first of all, you brought a great guest. I think she's amazing, Dr. Janet Childs. Yes, I have to say you surround yourself with people of high integrity and really making a difference in the world. And I love that. So thank you for that.
And don't forget, you're one of them.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
It's true. I don't speak non-truth.
Well, I know you only speak the truth, and I'm really glad that you're here today. So I'm going to spotlight you, and if you can just tell us a little bit about what you're doing in this world and the value that you bring to us, I'd really love that.
Thank you so much. The biggest question I get is, how did I become a pet psychic? Did I study for it? Kinda, but I was born this way. I've always heard the animals, the trees, the bees, horny toads, they're in the desert. I love them. They don't have a lot to say. But I think it just made me more cognizant of what's going on in the world. And I love gardening for that reason, because I pour so much love into the natural world. And I get so much back. Anybody who does anything with pets or organic or trees or plants knows what I'm talking about. And I encourage everybody to be true to themselves. And that was where my trajectory took me, was coming here and going public. That was one of the scariest things I did, was go public. And I read for other people. I don't need an animal in my presence because I'm also an empath, and I can feel their feelings, your feelings, what's going on. And as a trainer, I can help you. Is it a sit problem? Is it a stay problem? Is it they're running and taking your arm off? So I've surrounded myself not only with a natural gift, but with a lot of education, because I truly believe, and you'll see by the diversity of people I've invited on, that they're not all, so far, hardly any of them are animal people, because I think we all have so much to give and so much new information to share. And I have done that by being a public speaker, talking about a breadth of knowledge, and putting together, I'm working on some YouTube videos, which I've never done because I've always done live. And I really want to get the message out. Spay and neuter is so important. We have enough pets out in the world, and vaccines and good doctors, and how to be loved, and dealing with lost pets. Oh my gosh, hardest thing I do. But it's so nice. I have a client that I helped, and he keeps sending me notes about, I love my puppy every day because we found him. And his dog was actually stolen from his truck. So it was a very traumatic event. And that's really hard for me to deal with, because I got to get through people's feelings and people emotions and get everybody to calm down, and the dog to, and she was tough. The dog was tough because she was so sure Dad was coming. She was so loved and so balanced, but we couldn't get her to bark for our life. And so my life is just so uplifting and wonderful. So it's truly what you see behind me: love, understanding, and resolutions for animals with people. And they will tell the truth. So be careful. They will tell me when, he's smelly, but he's mine. And the dog was talking about the human, and they took a lot of medication, and a little alcohol, I think, was involved in there too.
You know what, Aminah, I think is so interesting, and this was brought to my awareness by you, and then we're going to bring Dr. Janet Childs out, is how animals really do know if we're suffering, if we're in pain, if we're sick. They really do feel that. And somebody I interviewed someone, it was an incredible story. She was riding a horse, and the horse threw her. She broke her back, and she broke her ribs, and it turned out she had cancer. And the horse knew, and that's why
he's like, get off and get some help, woman.
exactly. So let's bring out Dr. Janet Childs if we can, and let's welcome her to the program. Hello, Dr. Janet Childs. You said to call you Janet, so I just want to let our audience know. Hi, Janet. Welcome to our program.
Thank you so much.
It is an honor to be here. An honor to be here. So grateful.
Do you realize we are all, like in my picture, Dr. Jacalyn is over here, not over there. You're over here.
I know.
And then Janet's here, and we are color coded. We literally should have called each other because Janet, I'm wearing a jacket the same as yours, and then your chair is the same color as Dr. Jacalyn.
Yes, my dress matches the chair, and your top
and in my picture, it's this beautiful circle of wow. What did we do? Call each other? No, we're all over.
Just got in tune.
I know. That's amazing. Anyways, just thought I'd point out that very interesting look I'm getting here.
Yes, I think. Yes, I do want to say one thing because we're getting a lot of people watching us here on Instagram and social media. And I just want to let you know, if you're watching on Instagram, you can only hear me. And that's because of the technology of how my headset is wired to the board, to Business Talk Radio. But you can go over to Facebook to Dr. Jacalyn or Dr. Jacalyn's interviews, and you can watch us live and hear everyone. So we want to hear from you. Please post comments. Also, we'd love to have you call in. I'm going to run our banner with the phone number. There it is. The number is 609-961-1699. Okay. Janet, we would love to hear a little from you about your background, and then we'll talk about how you and Aminah met. And I think you have something special that you want to do for us right now.
Absolutely. So I've actually been a founding member of the Center for Living with Dying program, and our 45th birthday was actually February 5th, 2021. Wow. And we're a grief counseling center that provides group and individual support for people going through grief. And of course, we work with pet loss and grief as well, because four-leggeds as well as two-leggeds. The profound grief experience we can have can often be isolating and can often feel out of control. And if we have support and we have a community to go to, it can really help us along that road. And we founded it to create that safe place for people to come to experience their grief. And we created the Bay Area Critical Incident Stress Management Team, which is a team that supports responders and caregivers on the front lines who go through a critical incident in the journey of their work. And we provide peer support and support for them as they make meaning out of surviving these critical incidents. And unfortunately, we've had many, just in the past year. In fact, we're calling it pandemics because there have been several pandemics going on, not only COVID-19, but, racial injustice, natural disasters, a lot of critical incidents occurring. And so our wonderful team provides support to the community and to the people that are responding to these incidents. And we came up with a tradition many years ago on our Bay Area team of lighting the candle. And one of our firefighters came in and he said, I'm lighting this candle for the child I couldn't save. I'm lighting this candle for my coworker who got hurt. And I'm lighting this candle for me because I'm stressed out. And so he started us on the tradition of lighting the candle to remind ourselves that we can be the light for each other and that we bring our unique light, to our life and to the support that we can give to and for each other and for our community. And so it's become a long time tradition of lighting the candle as a symbol of that, and as we gather together on this incredible broadcast, I just want to say to both of you, Dr. Jacalyn and Aminah, you are doing good work in the world. We need you. We need you out there. And I'm so grateful to be a part of today's session because we can make it together if we come together and what we call tend and befriend. If we come together as a unified force to provide each other support when we go through life-changing events. So I would like to light this candle for both of you and also for all of our viewing and listening audience to remind you that you are the light. And before my brother died many years ago, he taught me how to make the origami crane. And the origami crane has become a universal symbol of hope, love, peace, and healing. And so we made this one especially for Dr. Jacalyn's wonderful, wonderful broadcast, and just wanting to remind you that you indeed are a light in this world.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I almost started crying here. Thank you so much. I really am touched. That's just beautiful. Thank you.
Thank
and I
you.
love that you made that special origami for this show. That is just so beautiful. We have so many wonderful people that grace our stage, and now we have you. Thank you for being part of the Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn family. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to be here.
And I think before we get into any discussion, I'm going to take us to a quick break, if that's okay with you.
No, I think that would be great. That'd be great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Perfect. We are going to hear from Diane Floyd-Bain. We're going to hear her promotional video, and then we are going to go over to our choice fashion. So here we go. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diane Bain. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diane Floyd-Bain tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at DianeFloydBain.com. Visit DianeFloydBoehm.com. That's DianeFloydBain.com.
When all my broken sneakers started to pile up in the wardrobe, I realized that we have a problem. Sneakers are made from plastics, and plastic is not mendable. My name is Philip, and I'm one of the founders of Our Choice Fashion. How many times did this happen to you? How can eco sneakers save the world when they break after only a few months and we have to buy pair after pair that breaks? We are here to give you the solution, a choice for truly sustainable fashion in the world's first circular sneakers. On average, we all buy 3 pairs of sneakers each and every year. This adds up to 25 billion sneakers per year, of which most end up in landfills. This adds up to 350 million tons of CO2 emissions, the same amount as for the country of Italy or the state of California. So we started to develop a product that would have all the old-fashioned qualities. It is mendable, it has a classic design, and it has a natural comfort. because we chose the best designer there is, Mother Nature. The sneakers get more and more comfortable the more you wear them. Made from vegetable tan leather and natural latex from the rubber tree, the sneakers are both sustainable and comfortable. These sneakers are made from pure raw materials that are both fully biodegradable and fully recyclable. The best thing here really is that when your sneakers need an upgrade, you just send them right back to us using the same bag that you got them delivered in. We then resole your sneakers, put on a fresh pair of laces, and give them a nice new polish. This means that you can wear your sneakers for many years to come. Our sneakers are more than sneakers. They are a circular function, and we developed a smart pull for you to step into your sneakers without stepping down the heel. This means that you get a truly sustainable grip. We've got a fully circular business model, and that's why we'll only produce sneakers on your demand. Book your product now and get that sustainable grip at a discount. We've been on this amazing journey for 2 years, and now we're inviting you to also make a choice for truly sustainable fashion. Try the world's first circular sneakers, 100% plastic free, and I can promise you that our choice will be your companion for many years to come.
Other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Aminah. It's so nice to see you and our guests. You guys changed places somehow. There you go. So
I went to her house. She went to mine.
There you go.
Very nice.
Teleportation was invented.
Well, it's good to have you both back, and thank you so much for that lighting of the candle and for your good wishes and sending positive energy out to the world. Aminah, this is your guest, and I'm thrilled to meet her, so I'd love for you to give us a little bit of background and intro.
Well, we are very, very fortunate. Quite a few people you have met here and everybody has met here comes from the Center of Creative Living. And this is a spiritual organization with just a plethora of unique, wonderful, pedestrian, every type of person walking on the planet. It's literally open to everybody. We have a building that is actually in a place where a few homeless people tend to come and go because it's in a more commercial area. And what I was really impressed with the group of people, and Dottie's from here, and a couple of other people are from here, and Dottie's going to be doing a repeat act with us monthly, so that's something we'll talk about later. But just a lot of really wonderful people, and it was so nice to see that this person came in and they were hungry and they hadn't had a shade to sit in, and everybody just enveloped them and said, you know, and there was not like food out at the end of this church service like sometimes there are. They went to the kitchen, it's a storage room with a fridge. So the kitchen, and just found the peanut butter, found the food that's in the fridge, and that's why they keep, you know, that non-perishable stuff and make sure they're had. And to show another thing of that, we have a couple of members that come from farther away. They have to get an Uber or something to get there because they're in care facilities and that type of stuff. And one young man, everybody had pulled money together and got him some shoes and some socks and that kind of stuff. And then they were stolen from his room. And you know what? Immediately, Corky is one of the other helpers there. She drove him down and got him a pair of shoes immediately after services, and he kept apologizing for being so emotional, and everybody went up and said, no, this is life, this is real. And in every time, it's nice to know that you can have that bad day, you can have that good day, and everybody goes, I accept you for wherever you're at today. And Janet and Dottie and many of the other people that I brought on, you know, are from this family. moving me forward. So when I came back to San Jose, it was right after the revelation from my spirit guide. My own pet psychic mentor said, you have to go public. And I said, say again? Because it was something I've always done since childhood, but I have a very secular family, and so we just didn't talk about it. I was always quite a quirky anyway, and I was hoping I was adopted and that would answer everything. But because I'm taller by 6 inches, I'm blonde, again, there was just so many things. And then, no, I'm too much like my mother. So it's just like, nope. But you get all that, and then you walk in, and I was probably the first time said to somebody, they said, oh, great. And do you, have any gifts, or do you come from there? I said, well, I'm a Muslim and I'm a pet psychic. And they're like, oh, great. We don't have any of those. And I was like, okay, sure. And it wasn't like collecting me. Somebody once said, oh, they're just collecting people. No, they were just glad to know that something different resonated with a different sect of population. And I brought my classes there and that type of stuff.
So wait, I want to ask Janet what she was thinking when you came in.
I just fell in love with Aminah the first time that I saw her, because she just radiates an amazing energy of calm and peace and acceptance and just gently embracing. And what Aminah has done has really taught our community, about the details of, for example, the Muslim tradition, the traditions of Islam, in a beautiful way that we could learn and take them in and really gain a lot of wisdom from them. Aminah brings her realness. She brings her incredible sense of truth and how it is for her. And one of the things that I'd like to talk about is that what she deals with on a daily basis with her pet psychic gift that she offers is that when we do go through a loss or a change in our life, so many times in our overlay society, as I call it, we don't have a place to go to get support, to get healing, and to get comfort. And that is so powerful. We need to be able to have that, whatever loss or change we are going through. We've really seen this during the pandemic. We were in the first way. We are now in the second way. And we're going to be moving towards a third way. Well, that third way is not really going to look like the first way. It's yet another change that we are going through. And so by acknowledging and expressing those changes in a safe place and in a safe way, we can do an action step that gives us meaning. And that is what Aminah does for all of her clients in relationship to their pets, is she gives them a way to do an action step, to make meaning, and to claim the love. And that is what we're about at the Center for Living with Dying program, giving people that safe place to acknowledge, express, act, do an action step that brings healing and meaning. Doesn't mean that the pain goes away, but it means that we bring you to a place where you can move from out of control to in control and claim the love and the meaning and the memories and the good out of surviving challenges. And then our last step is to reconnect. How do we reconnect, back to what is still good in our world? Well, as we move towards the third way, we need people like you, Dr. Jacalyn, like our wonderful Aminah, to guide us through, to give us information, to offer this support platform by which we can talk with and for each other. This is so powerful. We no longer can be isolated. We have to move together and acknowledge what we've been through and get support with it and know that we can be stronger and deeper and more committed to going forward if we have a chance to do that.
Janet, that was absolutely beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful and so true. I loved how you spoke about giving people a safe place. People need to feel safe. And also what you mentioned, we're all in this together. You talked about the third phase. Everyone in this world is in this together. And what I find so fascinating now that we have this global audience, there are so many places in this world where they don't have vaccine rollout figured out. And they are still in a lockdown. And it's just people need help.
Right.
People need help, and they need to be able to have their voice, find their voice. So that's really why I started this platform, was for people. The Crohn's Colitis Foundation, that's what it first was about, for them to find their voice. And now it's for everyone.
Well, yeah, and it bloomed just like you and I did, and like Janet and I did. It was, she sat on that side, I sat on that side, of the audience, of the good. But it's not about place. It's about that energy matching and saying hi and how are you, and there's a million things with Janet, and I'm going to lead in on my side. But just like the other day, I'm wrapping up some classes that I've been giving for about 2 or 3, 4 years. And so I'm switching to some other things. So big class, did it free for everybody. And this young woman I'd never met came, and she's like, oh my gosh, this and this. And everything I talked about is, no, you get to be human, and whatever that means to you, you get to be valuable. But that loving pets they're highly forgivable. Oh, you forgot to feed me today? Little uncomfortable, but my favorite statement is this gentleman. I'm listening to his dog yap, and his dog's a little mangy because hasn't seen a brush in a long time, and he's got a breed that needs that. And how are you doing? And he said, oh well, he kind of smells a little bit, but he's mine. He took medication. He had a heart problem. All that. They accept us better than we do ourselves. We are so caught up in, you don't look right, or you don't smell right, or you don't have the right job or the right letters after your name, or and I was telling my daughter and my friend today, and I said, oh man, I need a DR in front of my name just to stand in this room today. It's like I could be Dwight Republican. I don't know. We'll think of something, because I can't use the doctor part. Doctor of reason. No, that would definitely not be me. But I do the laughter. That's how I get through the day. And there's just so much to be thankful for, and that type of stuff. So, Janet, just what you're doing and everything, I want to bring up, and I hope it's not, I'm going to, of course, you steer any way you want, but I want to bring where our worlds really tie together in what you do with the 9/11 survivors and all the work that you really need to do for yourself, because the people helping the people, like the nurses right now, boy, that's do they need support. Boy. And so every time I talk to my doctor's nurse or the receptionist or any of the support staff, I say, I hope you are safe. I hope you are well. And that kind of stuff. And I'm going to leave this, because I know we've only got a couple minutes till commercial. So I'm going to leave this a start, and everybody's going to come back for Janet's answer. Is, Janet, for me, 9/11, of course, was not just about the towers coming down and that kind of stuff, but it was the animals, the dogs that had to literally quit because they are used to finding someone alive eventually. That's right. There was so much death in 9/11 that the dogs literally were in depression, and had to be they had to be removed. They had to bring in other dogs because hundreds and hundreds of bodies were found. And people don't realize that these highly trained animals are aware of what their job is. And it's so exciting. They find them and everybody hugs and everybody carries them out in whatever, condition they're in. Yeah. These dogs seriously went through so much trauma, and just talking about it, I feel every bit of it. And Janet, I'd really like you to touch on that commonality that we have of that humanity and where we are as people to help each other move forward. And animals do that. I don't know you. I pet the cat when I'm feeling bad. I go squish her even if she doesn't want it. Absolutely. Because it's a cat. The dogs are going, yeah, let's do that. More hugging. But so we will get her answer when we come back. Exactly. Yes.
So we're going to take a break and hear from some of our sponsors. This is such a great program. We're going to hear from Carlson Marketing, and we're going to hear from Ralph Graves Jr., and then we're going to hear something from me. And we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Caruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating warm memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back. Here we are. Yay. We are on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Aminah. There she is. And our special guest, the doctor is in the house, Dr. Janet Childs. So thank you for being here. Before we took the break, Aminah had teed up something, and Dr. Janet Childs is going to answer. I'm going to spotlight you. Here you go, Janet.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's not Janet. Not Janet.
I know we look the same, but she's prettier.
So we were discussing, 9/11, 2001, which this is going to be the 20th anniversary of 9/11, 2021. I cannot believe it.
Wow.
It feels like yesterday that we were working with folks in New York and in Washington, D.C., and in Pennsylvania, providing support in the aftermath of that incredible disaster. And what we talked about were the search and rescue dogs. And I want to talk a little bit about they're really an expression of how we as humans also deal with stress and grief and loss and change, which, by the way, is our natural response to anything that changes, even positive change. We're probably going to have a stress response. And so these dogs are used to going in and finding successes. Now, let me tell you how a dog lets us know that he has found or she has found a live victim, typically what happens is they bark. Okay. If they have found a dead body, they whimper. So they make a different sound. Biochemically, they're actually giving themselves bad news. So when they find a dead body, they whimper. And when they find a live body, they bark. And one of the things that we've done at a couple of other critical incidents that worked out wonderfully was actually, dressed people up, moulage them up, as we said, put them into the wreckage or wherever it was, and allow the dog to find a live body so that they can bark and they can have a success. And that is very much what making meaning out of grief and loss and change is about. We have to be able to have it acknowledged. Yes, you've gone through a rough time. I mean, I love the fact that, in these pandemic times, that Dr. Jacalyn has made it possible for us to come together and to acknowledge this has been rough. This has also been incredibly meaningful. We've cared for each other in an amazing new way. In the California area, where our Bay Area CISM team is located, we have supported hospitals in setting up peer support programs for their nurses and for their social workers and their doctors and their healthcare professionals, because right now they are our frontline responders, and they need to sometimes be able to bark when they find a live body. And that's what this is about. That's what we mean about finding meaning out of the pain. And until we're allowed to really express the details of it, we don't ever get beyond that point of finding a meaningful action step. Now, I have to share with you a story that was just an incredible client of mine that I had many years ago. She was a homeless woman, and she had gone through multiple deaths, and I was seeing her, actually visiting her at the homeless shelter. And she said, "Janet, my heart is like a hotel. Everybody I love has a room in my heart hotel. Everybody I love has a room. My animals, the people I've loved. And when they die or they go away from me, they do not lose their room. They are in my heart forever." And I said, "Well, what do you do with the empty rooms?" Her name was Ms. Eleanorta, and I just have to honor her, Eleanorta. And I said, "Well, Ms. Eleanorta, what do you do with the empty rooms?" And she said, "I fill them up with the love and the memories and the good times that even death can't take away from me." And I said, "That's incredible." And she said, "Also, Janet, I want you to know that I can add on new rooms as I meet new people to love." And she said, "If you're nice to me, you'll get a little room on the second floor." I love this woman. I said, "You are amazing."
There's the prize. You got to be nice.
You got to be nice.
Janet, you look like you struggle with nice.
I know.
I know.
And
So
what was amazing about that is that she had just expressed how the grief and stress process works so beautifully, right?
That's true.
How
That's
do we
very
make
true.
meaning?
That's
And
a
how
great
do we get
story.
to keep? And I said, "So what do you need me for?" I said, "I'm a grief counselor, but you've got it all. You've got it dialed in." And this is what she said to me: "Janet, I need you to help me release the pain, the anger, the guilt, the loneliness, the depression, the sadness, the grief, so that my heart hotel is just full of the love, the memories, the sweetness, the meaning, and the life that I can have."
Get rid of all the negativity.
Absolutely. And that's what we can do.
Just
Put it out
leave
with the
there.
trash. And that's exactly what we can do when we acknowledge it and express it in a safe way. We can release it, and then we can claim what we've gained from it, what we've learned from it. There is so much I know that I have learned, and I believe that we have learned surviving this pandemic.
Right.
There is so much that probably I will admit I took for granted. Being able to go wherever I wanted to go at a moment's notice, hop in my car and go get a coffee or a bite to eat with a friend, doing my workshops and seminars in person. Now we do them all via Zoom. I mean, there are so many things that we took for granted. Being able to lovingly say goodbye to somebody in person, be able to have a funeral ceremony in person, So we have gone through so much. And when we acknowledge that, it actually can lighten it up a little bit. It can actually bring us to the place where we're going, okay, I am not alone. There are other people that are going through it, and we are acknowledging it together and creating that safe environment, that safe place.
And how can we help one another, right? That's
Absolutely.
a big part of it.
Absolutely. And it's as simple as a phone call. It's
Yes.
as simple as a text this day and age. If you even just find an emoji, and the sillier the better in my world. And if you haven't been on platforms like Pinterest and stuff like that, for all us mentally challenged people that need a little boost, I just put in a couple silly words or whatever, and you'll get the funniest pages. That's all you need to send. And if you're like me, sometimes I get on social media at blocks, and then I have time to save all that stuff. And when somebody's coming up with a hard day or something like that, I'm like, oh, I got just the thing to send to you. It's a virtual hug, because I find it's just as valuable to say, hi, I was thinking of you.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Smiley face, because who doesn't want to be thought of?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I'm holding in front of us right now is a snail mail letter. And the reason that I'm talking about snail mail is that that's a tradition that I've always had, but I've really kicked it up, because there's nothing better than getting what Aminah said so beautifully, that instant, feedback and that instant gratification. And then there's also getting that little letter in the mail that you can touch, you can open, you can hold, and you can reread over and over and over again.
Right.
Expressing, just, I'm thinking about you. I'm holding you in my heart. How are you? This has been really hard.
Right.
This has been really rough. You are not alone. You are not alone. And when we can give that for and with each other, as a matter of fact, we've kind of come up with the triangle of response. And when we're supporting each other, it's to ask, listen, and then validate. So we don't try to fix. We don't try to make it minimized. We don't try to, change the subject, but we ask, what's been up for you? What's hit you the hardest right now? And we listen to the details, and then we validate. Yeah, that's rough. That's hard. What is it that you might need right now? How can I support you right now? And keeping it into the present moment, my friends, is so important, because as we have to plan for the third way, as we enter into, re-entry in some ways, into another evolutionary change in these pandemic times, we also, in planning for the future, need to stay in the present, because that's what we can work with. What is up for me right now? What do I need to get through it right now? And what are some action steps I can do to take care of myself? And by taking care of ourselves, we're going to be able to take care of each other. And so that no one is left behind.
Absolutely.
I don't know if anyone remembers the old show Lilo and Stitch. It's a wonderful cartoon, which I love. And there's a saying, Ohana, which in the Hawaiian tradition, no one gets left behind. Everyone is family. And when we can provide that support with each other, and the latest trauma research shows us that if we acknowledge that elephant in the middle of the room, it actually boosts our immune system. So rather than minimizing it, which is a lot of us are taught to just minimize it or ignore it, that actually depresses our immune system. So if we acknowledge it, it actually boosts our immune system. And when we share it with each other, it actually activates oxytocin, which is the feel good, the hug drug. It actually activates that when we tend to befriend each other.
Absolutely.
Yes. Beautiful.
Absolutely. And a pet does that too. But what I don't want to see everybody do, because I know you need to go to commercial, is I don't want you to adopt and return. So don't ever adopt and that's what our worry in my field for all these adoptions, they're all being emptied, and then you go back to work and your children go back to daycare and your dog goes back to the shelter. So on that happy note of
yes, we do have
Seriously.
2 comments that I just wanted to read out. So Zia B on YouTube, thank you. I did put this up before, but we didn't get a chance to acknowledge it. So yes, Aminah does talk with animals and also plants and humans as well. And then we have from Diane Floyd Bay, my beautiful friend. She just was on our show earlier today, and we just played her clip. Powerful words, The Heart Hotel. She's speaking magic. I love snail mail. Nothing can take the place of snail mail. I can read my grandmother's letters, my mom's.
Exactly.
Them in heaven, the snail mail is even more powerful. Love the triangle. And
Thanks,
Diane,
Diane.
I want to say something. Diane is great at sending mail, and I've gotten mail from her. She also, I have this picture here. I didn't know if I should show it or not. Diane, you sent of you and your mom, and I have these pictures here, right here on my desk, which came in the mail. So it's a beautiful thing. Okay, that being said, we're going to go to a break, and thank you again for engaging with our program. We really appreciate it. We're going to hear about if you're looking for work and you need some help. We're going to hear from Mindy Thomas.
Hi everyone, I'm Mindy Thomas, founder of Thomas Career Consulting. If you are dealing with the stress of having been terminated or being laid off, considering a career change, or you simply cannot land a job with your current resume, you came to the right place. My professional expertise centers on being trained in 2 distinct areas, career counseling and career marketing. I am also the host of Career Chat, a weekly talk show which appears on RVN TV. My end game is helping you to overcome the self-doubt, the fear, and the other barriers you are facing right now in a very tricky, perplexing, and complicated job market. .5 seconds. That's how much time it takes a recruiter to scan your resume. On top of that, electronic applicant tracking systems may reject you even if you have the skills, education, and experience. I teach you how to win when you absolutely have to. My resume writing practice is built on a personalized, collaborative, and strategic approach that showcases your accomplishments in a way to get you noticed. At the center of my strategy is identifying your strengths and targeted keywords to make you stand out from the competition. As a professional resume writer, I know what it takes to impress even the most discriminating hiring manager. Changing careers, launching a new one, overwhelmed or stuck in a dead-end job? I have more than 2 decades of experience as a Georgetown-trained leadership coach, resume writer, career counselor, and recruiter. So whether you're a student, a top executive, or simply struggling to find your own career identity and you're feeling lost, you can count on me to lead you through the journey of self-discovery. I will formulate a step-by-step plan that begins with the assessment of your skills, your interests, your values, and your personality, and then explore the opportunities that are best suited to align with you. In essence, what makes sense for you? With 25 years of business experience, I have been privileged to work with a diverse group of adults, from young high school students to the millennials, the Generation X, Y, and Z, and boomers. Let me put that to work for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Aminah. Aminah, there she is. And our guest, Dr. Janet Childs. It's good to have you both here. I do have something I wanted to ask when we're talking about 9/11 and the dogs going in and how they react to a live body or one that has passed. Isn't that very stressful for the animals to continuously encounter death. And
Yeah.
how does
They had to be rotated
Absolutely.
out constantly, and some of them
Yes.
actually couldn't go back, because we're talking about days, 3,
Yes.
7, 10 days of, because they didn't want to. Even the people who have passed, and I'm sure Janet can elaborate even more, you want to provide the family with closure at bringing their body out, and the
Absolutely.
firefighters also needed help, and Janet's really working with, you know, that end to end. And for me, and all of us who work with animals full time, dogs are just amazing, and it's their nose, it's their energy, and that, but they need, like we do, is to have some happiness. They're thrilled to find that lost child, because everybody's so excited that they, you know, and all the energy of the people change. But can you imagine their handler that's working with them on a long line or whatever, and it's a leash that goes like forever. And a lot of those dogs were out on their own and coming back for the people. So you have both scenarios, depending on the safety, because they're always worried about more cave-ins, and they're always worried about, and that's why they had to work so quickly to get people out as quickly as possible if they're going to get a chance for that. Animals do feel depression and that type of stuff. It is, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty details because it's very complicated, and every vet will tell you it's as complicated as people. But that was a huge magnifying glass on saying, yes, they do feel. Yes, they do feel a wide range of emotions, and depression is a part of this, because their job, and being a pack animal, it's okay, this is what my family, this is what my group needs. I'm going to do it, and I'm successful. And if you just keep finding death after death after death, they can smell it far and away. That's why dogs are so good at this. Their nose is so sharp. They can find the traces of the smell of people that you know aren't. And you have to imagine they might have died in the floors as they collapsed. And by the time they get to the rubble in the bottom, that body has been without a blood system for a long time. So sorry to get so graphic, but a dog can get past all that. Get past the fact that they're no longer sweating or have an odor as a human that's alive, but it just compounds the tragedy. And some of the dogs were not able to go back. They were retired. It was just too traumatic. And it's extremely traumatic on the handlers as well, because they're watching their partner literally collapse from this. So think about that with a police officer and or a firefighter or a paramedic, and they're going through that same thing, which is what Janet's working with, and why we both feel so strongly, because, you know, and I would say, you know, Janet's as much as an empath as I am, and we feel so deeply.
Absolutely. And I want to share something that happened before the both of you were probably alive. And that was the Oklahoma City bombing. Which was our first major disaster. And our team did a lot of work with the responding, what we called search and rescue teams. They came from all parts of the country. And what they did at Oklahoma City, which I thought was brilliant, was they actually had people and children play with the dogs that were alive. And so they gave them breaks, because they realized very quickly that the dogs were getting depressed, and literally one dog died, we believe, as a result of a broken heart. He actually died on scene with his handler, because it was so overwhelming. And so by having this opportunity for them to have a positive outcome, to be able to have their work have meaning, is as important to our four-legged responders as it is to our two-legged. So, you know, creating that atmosphere where they actually got to play with live children, because they unfortunately found a lot of children in that particular
the Oklahoma
bombing.
one,
And that they got to find firefighters that, you know, kind of dressed up as, you know, people that have been injured, and they were able to find the firefighters, and they were able to have that celebration step, which is, we talk about our 4 steps of healing, and it's acknowledge, express, act, and then reconnect. And that reconnection point, it gets them reconnected back to the land of the living, reconnected back to each other and the meaning we can take. And so I just can't stress that enough. It's so important for us to be able to, even in the midst of all of these changes, that we reconnect with our support systems, we reconnect with what gives us joy, and that we invite ourselves, and be gentle with ourselves as we go through this moment by moment, day by day.
Right.
Janet, a question for you. You shared those 4 steps, reconnecting me in the last. Is there any general measure of how long each one takes? I know it's individualized.
It's very individualized. Well, we can't do any of them until we acknowledge. And I've actually co-authored a book called Experiential Action Methods and Tools for Healing Grief and Loss Related Issues. Life, Death, and Transformation is the longest title of any book. And it's a great book. But one of the things that we talk about, those 4 steps, is that's the process of acknowledging that we are in pain or suffering or, struggling, and then expressing the details of it, because we take in stress and trauma as well as joy and love and happiness within our 5 senses. So they literally get imprinted within our 5 senses. So we need to be able to express the details, either in talking or in writing, whatever works. There are a lot of different methods that we can use to get it from the inside to the outside. And then when we do an action step, we move from out of control to in control. And the 2 factors that we have found that make stress and grief worse is feeling isolated or feeling out of control. So in stress and grief management, we simply have to get you out of isolation and into community, and from out of control to in control, even over a little thing. And that's what that action step does. So what they were able to do way back in, the 1990s when we had that incident, is they were able to do an action step to bring meaning to those dogs and their handlers. And that's what we can do for each other in helping each other do our action steps. But we can't do the action step until we first acknowledge and express. And so it's kind of a flowing process. It's not really acknowledge, express, act, reconnect. We came up with these about 25 years ago. It's more like a flow. So we might acknowledge, express, do an action step, reconnect, and then we might end up back, we need to express some more. We need to acknowledge some more. And it's kind of a flowing process, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, because we all have good days and we all have bad days. And you have those triggers. You walk by a sign that was someplace, you walk by the movie theater that you went to the movies with that husband, child, whatever, whatever that is. And you have to know that grief is a process. It is always a process for a lifetime.
It's like a roller coaster. And we even have a little handout that talks about grief and a roller coaster. It's got like a grief over a time frame. And it's so important to know that each day is different. So that's why by focusing on the here and now, what we can do is we can manage that, what's going on right now, and then be able to respond to it.
Because sometimes the roller coaster is going to be fun, but sometimes you're going to be upside down.
You're going to feel
sick. I can't underline that.
Yeah, and you're going to be at the top, and you go,
or you're going backwards. Right. You're like, what's going
and you're on? Going backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
I got on the wrong ride.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I can't seem to get off this one.
Right. So, I'm out of control. Yes,
it's really bad when you have that in the middle of your sleep in the bed, and you fall off the bed and go, "What the heck?" And it's like, "Oh, that's right. I was on." But if you are gentle with yourself, as you say so much, Janet,
that's it.
Gentle with
that's
yourself.
The key thing.
I am human, or I am whatever, but I can do better on the days I can, and I love myself every day.
Every day. And being gentle with ourselves is the key. That will entitle us and create that environment for us to be gentle with each other.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Janet, where can we find your books? Do you have more? Your book.
They're on Amazon. Yeah, they're on Amazon. And my co-author is Lucia Darrow. And she's an amazing therapist that has done a lot of work with grief counseling and in groups as well. And it's just a wonderful, the way the book is set up, Experiential Action Methods. And you look under my name and you'll probably be able to find it. It's a long title. And we have work pages that you can actually copy, that we've given you permission to copy right out of the book and either use if you're working with clients or patients, or if you're just working with your friends and family, you can copy these out and do them together. They're wonderful exercises, and and action steps that you can do.
It's wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. We learned so much from you. For people who are listening on the radio, how can they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Feel free to get a hold of me on my email. I'm still a part-time consultant. I just recently retired from the Center for Living with Dying, but you can still get a hold of me through my email, jchilds@bwcmail.org. And you can also get a hold of me by my phone number, which I will leave in the chat. I'm sorry, we don't have chat. I forgot I'm not on Zoom.
we have private chat.
We have a private chat.
Right, I have a private chat.
So they should just be psychic and postulate that number.
Absolutely. So 408-313-5306.
Okay, thank you. And do you have a few words you want to leave with?
Absolutely. Be gentle with yourself and take today for what it brings you. Be as gentle as you can. And what we're going to do is just going to give you a little bit of a homework assignment for having to listen to this. I mean, we talked a lot about, grief and loss and trauma and stress. So we want you to do something fun, nourishing, life-affirming that has no socially redeeming value whatsoever. Okay, something just wonderful for you today before your head hits the pillow tonight.
Absolutely.
And know that we can do this together. We can build resiliency together, and it starts with being gentle with ourselves.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So much. Appreciate it. It's been lovely meeting you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And this candle is for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amen. That's beautiful. We'll see you again. Come back and visit us anytime.
Thank you. That means a lot. I will.
All right, good. We'll be happy to see you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
I wanted to say hello to a few folks who are watching. India Harvey Beckinsale, we just interviewed her earlier today. She's killing it with these gorgeous fashions that she blings out. She's a queen blinger, I'm going to call. We have Mohammed Kikish. We also have Anthony Luz, Kimberly Grove, Diane Floyd Bame, as we know. And there were a couple other folks, but the stream's gone so long I can't find it. So, okay. Aminah, what would you like to leave our audience with today as we enter the weekend?
You know what? Go out and wherever you are, whatever the weather is, rain we need because we love the plants, love it. Sun we need to grow by us and the plants. And go for a walk wherever you are. Maybe it's just up and down your stairway. But be kind to yourself and give somebody a hug virtually or otherwise, because we can all use a kind word. And love your pets, love your animals. And if that's not possible, you can watch puppy pictures all over the TV, whatever makes joy for you.
Wonderful. Thank you, my friend, for being here. It's always a lovely Friday when spending it with you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful weekend, Aminah.
You too. Take care.
Thank you. Bye. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for watching. We have 2 more shows this evening. Yay. We have Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 10 p.m. British Summer Time. And then we have the Variety Show with co-host Lori Mendelson. That's at 6 p.m. Eastern Time or 11 p.m. British Summer Time. So we look forward to seeing you very soon. I'm going to do a quick wardrobe change, and I will be back for our next program. Stay with us. Thank you again for being here. We will see you soon.